Trenchtown, Jamaica. Bob Marley, come on!
Yeah, this is my identity.
It is mentioned of in the Bible that there shall be a music that all people shall play and dance and sing with. What other music could that be? Reggae.
Reggae music was born in the poverty and filth of the slums of Kingston, Jamaica in the 1960s. And over the past decade, it's become the rallying cry of the not-so-beautiful Jamaicans, the street people, the dirt poor, the derelicts, the hustlers and the pushers. Reggae and reggae bands like Bob Marley and the Wailers have become a musical rage throughout the world. But to many in the Caribbean, reggae is the sound of revolution.
Important is he to the people here? He's a hero. There's only one Bob Marley.
This man was really a prophet, inspired by God, a musical prophet.
Along with Che Guevara, he's probably the most popular kind of image for kind of the youth and has been.
There was a tiny item in the paper the other day about an opinion poll taken in the African country of Zambia that asked people there to name the world figures they admired most. As one might expect, the name of imprisoned black activist Nelson Mandela turned up. What was surprising was that Mandela finished second to a ghetto-tough street poet who lived a world away and has been dead now for 6 years. Bob Marley is remembered here as a Jamaican reggae singer whose music made a generation of young, mostly white Americans want to get up and dance. But his words and his life still reflect the aspirations and the frustrations of the third world, where his songs have become an anthem and given Bob Marley a life after death.
Those days bring back the family. This is when we were one big, happy, hungry sometimes family. There were days we didn't have food to eat, we didn't know where we were going to get our next meal from, but we were singing our lives away. Again, you know, Bob Marley sings about reality, hurt, feeling sad, feeling lonely. He had many of those days.
No woman no cry. No woman no cry. I remember when we used to sing in a government yard in Trenchtown.
It's become a lullaby now that mothers can be heard singing in tough, smoky slums from Soweto to Sao Paulo, where a song of hope can be the only thing that gets them from one day to the next.
Bob Marley gave the world hope in places that had none. His music spoke the truth and opened the world's eyes to problems which before had gone unseen, and his messages of love, peace, unity, equality, and happiness was taken in everywhere. He believed life was too short to be sad and to have hate, and that no matter how tough things get for you, you should always keep on smiling and seeing the good things, because every little thing is going to be alright.
Aside from music, what was the most important piece of advice that your father gave to you?
His advice came through music. You know what I mean? So even though, when you say besides from music, music was how he conveyed his message. So, you know what I mean? Anything he might teach me, even if it has to do with your personal life, it still come through your music. And I mean, just love, you know? Just outright love for everything, for every existence, you know what I mean?
Reggae music is always there, though. But the thing that makes our music so important is the lyrics, I think. Yes, it is necessary to understand the lyrics, you know? It have meaning to, you know? But it's because some people understand the words, you know? Some people never go through them situations, so. But the majority of the world suffer, masses of the people suffer, and this music comes from the masses of the people.
What's the most important thing for your son to know about his grandfather?
That he stood for one love, you know? Yeah, that is the most important thing, where no segregating, you know what I mean? No, we run no fences, you know, and that will teach him everything else will come through love, through that open heart, you know what I mean?
So it really, for me, it don't matter, you know. It don't matter if it's a Christian, that don't make you less of a man. It don't matter if it's a Buddha, as long as we're on the same understanding that we live in life in harmony with love and compassion for people and people's needs and wants and feelings, then it's all good.
We love to fight. We gonna fight. We gonna fight. We gonna fight. Fighting.
April 18th, 1980. After a 20-year guerrilla war, the British colony of Rhodesia became the independent country of Zimbabwe, and Bob Marley had been part of it. During the final years of the war, the guerrillas had fought in the bush with Marley's music by their side. The new government invited him to Harare, the capital, to appear at the independence ceremony.
Viva Zimbabwe! Viva Zimbabwe! Viva!
The official guest list had been kept to dignitaries and politicians, but when Marley began playing, thousands of soldiers broke through barricades and climbed fences and poured into the stadium.
Ghetto youth, tired of the constant political infighting, banded together in a mammoth reggae concert for peace. It ended with Prime Minister Michael Manley and opposition leader Edward Seaga on stage, shaking hands in an appeal for peace. The man responsible for it all, they say, was Bob Marley. Bob, you've been labeled a powerful political individual. How do you regard that?
Well, I mean, yeah, we try to make really bring peace, knowing that we really can't solve a problem with a war, you know. It doesn't really solve a problem. We don't feel like really killing someone. Whose problem am I going to solve when I kill someone? You know what I mean? So I figure the peace is the best thing. And that's why I go ahead and work with it, because it was a spiritual thing what happened.
The peace medal. Maybe when the world see the young generation dreaming about peace, they will think it is a time, then we get together and sing peace, peace, and love. And Bob, on behalf again of 500 million of Africans,
Zimbabwe was just one example of the power and appeal of Bob Marley's music in the Third World.
I knew some people who were trekking in Nepal. One night they stopped at an ashram where there was some Buddhist monks, and the first thing they heard as they approached the ashram was Bob Marley's song, Wake Up and Live. The monks were playing bootleg Lebanese cassettes of Bob Marley on top of a mountain in Nepal.
Ever sure, Selassie the first.
His message was a protest against injustice, a comfort to the oppressed, a search for peace, and a cry for hope.
Yeah. Rastaman vibration, yeah.
That is why his audience was universal, because he spoke to all Jah people. May his soul find contentment in the achievements of his life and rejoice in the embrace of Jah Rastafari.
Bob Marley died in Miami in 1981 of a cancer he ignored for years.
So I've got to push on through, but while I'm gone,
His spirit of hope still soars in far-off places, but the reality of life there remains unchanged.